Welcome, time for some art fun. Today we're going to review this Roman Szmal watercolor palette, so stick around. For my recent celebration of 1 year here on YouTube, I got myself this present of this Roman Szmal Aquarius watercolor palette. It is this beautiful Pasqualino Fracasso palette, where that is the artist who picked out this color range. And I unboxed it and sort of walked through the colors in that video, but I didn't do any swatching or sample paintings, and I wanted to do a real full review for you. And to do that, I needed to do a couple of different kind of paintings. I needed to do an animal, a portrait, and then I also wanted to do some mixing and just some play. It is a gorgeous palette with a huge range of colors. The colors are totally stunning. I'm giving you that close-up of the back of the palette. It is sort of a slide-out plastic palette in a plastic laminated sleeve. These are honey-based watercolors. They are super juicy and vibrant. They are just beautiful. They give you the pigment information on the back so you can see and tell what the light fastness is. If you know the pigment number, then you can look up the light fastness. So that is a really good tip if you're ever wondering. And I was really excited with how vibrant these are. I'm a big fan of vibrant watercolors. Because in my view, you can always water a watercolor down, that's literally in the name, if you want to tone down the vibrancy, but it's really hard to build up vibrancy if it's not there. So I like to start with a really bright color. Some people, for instance, hate phthalo blue because it is so strong, but I actually love phthalo blue. You do have to be careful when you're using it in a mix because it will take over the mixed color and you just add a teeny tiny little baby bit at a time. But I like having that option of just a super strong, punchy color. And a lot of these colors are like that. There are some more, I guess you would call it chill, colors in here. A little more relaxed, a little less on the edge and in your face. And there's also a nice range of opaque colors in here if you like to mix that in. Obviously, watercolor is known for being transparent, especially high-end watercolor. But I like that this has the color lavenda, which is a lavender. It's a white mixed with blue, mixed with, I believe, like a purple. It's PW6, which is a white, PB29, which is a blue, and PV16. I don't know what PV is. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. But I was making this adorable little lizard friend. It's actually a gecko because I wanted to do complementary color scheme. I liked the layout of this, the composition of this on this little square sketchbook page. And I just thought it was so cute. It looked like this little gecko was smiling. So it really allowed me to try a ton of different colors. Some of my favorite colors in this palette already are the cobalt sea blue, which you can probably see right there in the middle. It looks like a cobalt turquoise. It's just beautiful, even just looking at it in the pan. The transparent turquoise is stunning. The caput mortem is so much fun to play with. It has a buff titanium. It has a Naples yellow light. It has a nice big range of yellows, reds, pinks, purples, neutrals, and blues, but it also has just like those special colors. Like Aquarius green is also in my top 3 in this palette. I would say caput mortem, mineral violet. Oh gosh, no. See, now that I'm trying to pick, it has shadow violet, which is stunning. The ultramarine is a beautiful ultramarine. It has Veronese red earth. This has such a beautiful range of colors that even when I just tried to pick a top 3, I was like, nope, can't do it. So I have to say, I don't think I'll need another Roman Szmal paint, like a pan. There's no pan of paint that I feel like I'm missing. I don't know what is happening with this particular artist because this is this artist's chosen colors. Daniel Smith does that a lot where they let artists pick a palette of colors and you can buy that artist's palette. This artist is just right on my wavelength. Every single color that was selected is a color that I would want. So I'm obsessed with this palette. Just, spoiler alert, I love this palette. Because there is a huge range in this palette, there are 24 full pans. I did not do a ton of mixing in this first painting of this little gecko. I really just went straight for the colors that I wanted and just painted with convenience to my heart's delight. Like it was just convenience color after convenience color. And sometimes I just love painting that way. In the next painting, I did a lot more mixing because of their skin tone and things like that. And then in my final little experiment, I specifically was there to mix. And it is just amazing to me the range that you can get with this palette. This is a stunning palette. Yet another palette where this could be your only palette that you ever get and you would be fine. It is a mid-range cost, so it is definitely more affordable than like a Daniel Smith palette. To get 24 full pans of Daniel Smith would be a lot more expensive than this Aquarius, Roman Szmal Aquarius palette. It is definitely more in line with like Da Vinci as a competitor for the Daniel Smith and Schminkas of the world, much more affordable. So I loved doing the convenience thing, making this adorable gecko. I was thrilled with the result. It's just so vibrant and happy, and it was so much fun to make. This is a fun palette to use. So then I wanted to see if I could make a portrait and just test the range. I'm much more comfortable with cute animals than I am with portraits. When I make a portrait, I'm just playing and having fun. So just know that, like, please don't have high expectations for my portrait work if you're new here and you don't already know that from me saying it a million times in other videos. When I am doing a portrait, I'm mentally prepared that I might not like the result, but I always love the process. Now, in this case, I actually do really love how it came out, and it was so much fun to paint. Yet again, it was so much fun. So let me put aside the fun part. Let me just do a little bit of facts for you. I got this palette on Jackson's. I'm in the US, and I like to order from Jackson's if I'm getting something from across the pond. So if I'm getting Schminka or if I'm getting Roman Szmal, I like to order it there. If I were to get Sennelier, I would probably order it there. I just haven't tried Sennelier yet. Whereas if I'm getting Core or Daniel Smith or Da Vinci, those are American brands, I'm going to get them here. So it like Dick Blick or something like that. So the colors in this set are Buff Titanium, Naples Yellow Light, and this is a hard one to say, Quinothalone Yellow. Let me know if I said that wrong. Nickel Azo Yellow, Cherry Quinacridone Red, Transparent Pyrrole Orange, Gold Ochre, which is beautiful, Goethite, which is a favorite, Quinacridone Pink, Veronese Red Earth, which is a gorgeous neutral, Cypress Burnt Umber, Caput Mortem, again, I can't say enough. Mineral Violet is like a rose of ultramarine competitor. It is a stunning purple. Cobalt Sea Blue, which is like a cobalt turquoise. Blue Sky, which looks to me like a manganese blue hue. Van Dyke Brown. Shadow Violet, which is a really cool shadow tone that has a bunch of purples and pinks in it. It's beautiful. It's actually the color that made me want to buy this palette because it had that. That was like a no-go for me to get a palette from Roman Szmal where I couldn't try Shadow Violet. Shadow Violet was the color I wanted to try. Transparent Turquoise. Phthalo Blue, Aquarius Green, which turned out as a surprise favorite. It's like a stunner. You'll see in the mixes in the next segment. It's a gorgeous. Aquarius Black, Lavenda, which has some white in it. It's really cool. Cobalt Blue and Ultramarine Intense. It's a beautiful ultramarine. You can see where I'm using it in that, actually in this mix here, but also in the actual portrait. I just wanted to give you a close-up of the paint because it was just really fun for me. I spent a lot of time just moving it around on my palette, so I thought I would share that with you. So those are the colors that you get. Again, they are all full pans, very generous. I was surprised when it came that it wasn't in a metal tin. I guess I expected that the beautiful painting on the outside of the packaging that I showed in the beginning, which is a painting of the artist who selected this palette, that was encasing or enclosing the metal tin, but it's not. This is a plastic. You'll see right there, you can see it comes in that sleeve on the left, and there it is on the right, the plastic holding the half pans. Now it's easy enough, you just pull these out and you can rearrange them and everything, but I like to have the laminated sleeve out with the back facing me because that's my swatch sheet. I don't need to do a different swatch because these are pictures on the back of actual swatches and they look like paint swatches. So that's a very convenient feature of the box, and as well as the gorgeous painting on the front, which is very inspiring, and that's a positive of the box. But I actually really would love a metal tin or a waterproof case for this. So I'm thinking about whether to move it into another metal tin I have that would fit all of these pans. I just worry with the honey-based paint that it might ruin this box over time, and I would hate to see that because it is a stunner. So the next thing I wanted to do, I had been playing over on Stephanie Davis's channel. She's a fabulous fellow art tuber who does a ton of huge unboxings. Great swatching, beautiful art, always inspires me to want to grab my art supplies and go make something, including today. I actually posted on the community tab today, which will be a different day than when you see this video, with grabbing my Art X acrylic markers and painting on the couch with them because that's what she had done, making really cute animals, and I was just super inspired. But anyway, I was over there, she was over on my channel, she saw my unboxing, she saw that I got this palette. She heard me raving about these two colors, Caput Mortem and I'm going to call it Cobalt Turquoise, even though that's not what it's technically called. And she said, did you try mixing those two colors? And I said, not yet. I hadn't done any mixes yet. Again, I was just reveling in the independent individual pans. They're so pretty. So I decided to immediately get out my sketchbook and start playing with some mixes, different levels of water. I like to start playing by taking colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel as close as possible, or at least colors that are not necessarily right next to each other on the color wheel. So I like to take blues and oranges, purples and yellows, reds and greens. They tend to make beautiful neutrals like grays, interesting browns. And holy smokes, did these mixes not disappoint. This right here is the Lavenda and the Buff Titanium, which are the two opaque colors. And I thought they would make a really cool mix, and they did. Every single mix I made, I would look at and think, ooh, I want to use this in a sky, or ooh, I'd love to use this in a sea, and like a seascape, or I'd love to use this in the shell of an animal, or I'd love to use this in the face of the eyes of an animal, the skin of an animal, or in a landscape, or in this flower, or something like that. Like this particular mix here on the left, this might be really weird, but I used two neutral colors. The green, the Aquarius green, was really cool. I did write some notes so you could see, like, this is the Cobalt Sea Blue and the Caput Mortem, and this is how it looked starting to dry. Just gorgeous. I loved it mixed on the left, but also where it just kind of seeped into each other in the middle there. This is the Goethite and the Aquarius green, and that made me want to do like a weird, creepy portrait. Like, I think that would be a really cool skin tone. I know that might sound really creepy, but we're still close enough to Halloween that that's what I'm thinking about. And I think that would look so cool. It would also be great in landscapes, but still. Lavenda and Buff Titanium, I'm thinking a seascape right there, like just beautiful skies, beautiful sea, beautiful sand. Just love it. And then this was the ultramarine and the gold ochre. It made a very beautiful neutral. There's tons of granulation, probably because of the ultramarine. And this middle one, holy smokes, I used the turquoise, the transparent turquoise, and I believe it was the Veronese red. And this, it just dried stunning. You'll see it in a second. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that it was informative for you if you're thinking about getting this palette. And even if you're not, that it was helpful for you to think about different mixes, different ways to test a new palette that you get by stretching yourself with things that you aren't used to doing, like portraits if that's not your thing. And if you did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, check if you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, I would so appreciate it if you would go ahead and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And until next time, remember, create something cute.